Hey everyone, it's Mark from Solo Games, and today we're just going to do a little bit of card sorting, a couple of cards here and there. We're going to sort, and then while I sort, I figured I'll talk to the camera, talk to you guys about some of the things that's really crossing my mind in general recently, and then, just kind of figure that stuff out. Anyways, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is, I think overall a pretty successful set. I think most people, at this point, probably would agree that this set is pretty good, right? So, in general, it's the audience likes it. I think the players obviously they like it. In general, it's good. And so, one of the things that as we hit a high point on a Magic set, it's always one of those things where you can think about like, hey. What does this mean for the future of Magic? And it's one of those things where, like, me as a kind of like a seller of Magic cards, obviously really care about a lot because to me, those kind of things really, either support or kind of like defines the longevity of my business. Now, again, it's one of those things where whenever the sets don't do well, players don't buy the cards. And obviously, the single sale goes down, and that really hurts us, like individual card sellers. But when the card sets goes well, that's usually pretty good. But of course, one of the things we always have to be careful with is, kind of understanding where this is going to lead us, right? Long term, is this still going to be something that's great for Magic, for the players, that kind of stuff? I think it's going to be good. I think two things is really important. One is, even recently, I think in the Mark Rosewater podcast that he does every day called like Drive to Work or something, he did talk about the fact that like because Kamigawa has done really well, what that means is that it's going to be easier for them to pitch another Kamigawa set in the future. So if you like Kamigawa, that's great. If you hate Kamigawa, not so great because you're probably going to have to endure another set. But for the people who do like it, that's not a bad thing at all, right? So that's good. The other part that's really healthy is as these sets are going well, it's going to drive a lot of the investor community to kind of push for some sort of like defining moment of, hey, given that this is Magic's doing so well, how are you, right? Like, is the company, right? So this is we're not talking about Hasbro now. Is Hasbro doing the right thing, being the steward of Magic? And this is another topic that recently came up. It sounds like at least some activist investors are saying the Magic part of the Hasbro business is very diluted by the other parts that are not making as much money and are boring, and it doesn't help long term for Wall Street, right? So if you're someone who from Wall Street, obviously, what you care about is long term growth, and so what you care about is like, hey, it's cool that we're making money, but we need to be able to show people that we're making a lot more money and the growth is very healthy. Now, it's really tough to show that if you have businesses that make money, but also businesses that kind of are I don't want to say losing money, but I would just say it's like kind of boring. I mean, Magic every year has so if you're talking about main sets, you're looking at like 4 or 5 main sets, right? And then of course all the supplemental projects, these are all new things. What do you have over by Monopoly, which is another Hasbro, like big Hasbro IP, right? You're gonna get like a special reskin Monopoly game. Because I remember as a kid, I bought my mom bought me Pokemon Monopoly, right? So it's just Monopoly except that the land, we'll say Venomoth or whatever, Bulbasaur type of thing, instead of saying Baltic Avenue. It really doesn't change the game much. In reality, I don't know how well that sells. I guess it's an IP, so it's going to sell. But realistically, too, for a lot of players, is that really something that people are going to, care about long term? So that's one of the things I think a lot of Wall Street people were thinking about, too. It really doesn't sell sets when all you have to sell to people is, oh, hey, by the way, we have a new set and it's different. That's not really a selling point for most people. So something to think about too, right? That's kind of like where most of Magic is different from other games or other IPs of Hasbro. And as Magic does better, one of the, I guess, maybe negative things that you as a player or other people as players, whatever, can really think about is, what ends up happening with respect to like monetization of this game in the future, right? So if Magic does well, I assume that means Arena is going to do well too, I think. I will say Paper Magic is obviously Kamigawa. People really like this set, so it has done very well for the sellers. So I know people are buying the paper cards, are probably playing in person. But I think long term that also means that people are going to be playing Arena as well, because just as you get used to the game, you want to introduce new players to the game. They're going to go on Arena first. That's where they're going to be. So yeah, but then one of the problems with that is long term, what does that mean? Because as many other creators on YouTube have already talked about, Arena economy is terrible. Like, it's not just bad, it's terrible. If you compare to any comparable trading card games of the similar type, any of them almost have better economy than Arena. And that's saying a lot, right? Because Magic is not a small game. So if Magic does well, does that mean all of these monetization, these like kind of like things that players don't enjoy, don't like, are going to continue? I don't know. I mean, part of this is what I'm a little bit afraid of too, right? So I like the fact that Magic does well. I hate the fact that Magic can do well and potentially that could be harmful for the players, right? That's not good long term. So that is something that I'm a little bit worried about, though I don't know if I should be super concerned, because I think overall Magic in general can figure that out. Because I think one thing is clear is that if Magic does really, really poorly on one or two sets, then they readjust pretty fast. I mean, as you can see with Crimson Vow, I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty sure Wizards knew it wasn't going to do well, and Wizards definitely released 2 sets instead of 1 just to kind of fill a slot. And I know this is like maybe controversial to say things like this, but I'm going to be honest, like Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow definitely felt like one set. And it almost felt like more cards were created just so that they can have 2 sets and sell 2 sets. And so they can sell the double feature. And it's almost like the double feature was a kind of like a test to see, hey, what would happen if we do something like this? Would the players accept it? Would the players reject it? And I think the market is rejecting double feature, which also means that long-term double feature will probably do kind of well, because it's kind of like Dominaria. Okay, Dominaria was like a really edge case. I don't know why that was allocated, had a short allocation period, right? So amount of time where stores can pick it up from distributors, right? Before it was just pulled away from everybody. They didn't have as many print runs as other sets. Now, I will say, it does look like, don't have enough twin shot snipers. Interesting. Okay, so maybe I can't do this set. Yeah, so, I mean, but, other sets like Ixalan that didn't do so well, I mean, any sets that don't do so well, you know what the result is. The result is they're gonna pull the set early, and yeah, that's just exactly what's gonna happen. So, I mean, there's nothing to say about that. Just they're gonna pull the set early, and then it's gonna be gone. And then by the time that you want to buy the cards or whatever, guess what? It's not available. So now it is true that double feature is a 1 print, but that also means that like if they're not that much demand, Wizard might just slow trickle the things that they have printed, and they definitely will stop with whatever they did print. So maybe long term double feature could be a thing, but short term, like I think most of the people, their gut feeling is correct. Double feature really just didn't hit the spot for a lot of players, and that's kind of like a failure on Wizard's side. So they need to do better. But yeah, long term, one of my concerns with a successful Magic set is, does that mean that the next set is going to suck, right? Meaning, can we get the Brothers War when we return to Dominaria twice this year? Could it be more expensive because it's kind of like a pseudo premium set, right? Because Magic's doing well, they can charge more, and then what, give us less? So that seems kind of not good as a player. I think if they can continue to make sets that are amazing like this, which again, it's really hard, right? So it's not like Wizard doesn't want to have every set to be a bombshell drop, right? But the issue is creativity doesn't work that way, and a lot of times it takes a lot of failure to have a success. And so maybe Magic is enjoying one success in between a lot of failures. I just hope that this doesn't shift some of their decision making into more vicious against the players, which, gonna be honest, long term, that's not gonna go well for them or for the players. I mean, I think the players will start saying, hey, like, we'll start rejecting what Magic may be doing if they don't really like help the players as much as they help just try to fill their wallets. So turning over to other things, like I think in general, if you're looking at the long-term future of Magic, you're doing some sort of investing in that field, you're buying boxes to keep. Market hasn't changed. I mean, you could, on any low set or high set like Neon Dynasty, this set is so good. I'm assuming Wizards gonna probably not short print this, which means they're gonna print a couple more print runs in addition to the initial release, because numbers are probably doing very well. And so what that means is that if you're picking up Neon Dynasty now, it might be too early. So you might want to wait a little bit. But who knows? Maybe internally they've also changed the way that they're doing these, whereby they're trying to kind of make it a little bit more exclusive. So by doing that, maybe they are going to cut it short. And then guess what? Like by the time you realize they've cut it short, you don't have any boxes on hand. So yeah. Anyways, I think that's all I want to say about Neon Dynasty in general. So we'll just kind of cut it off there, and see you next time.